Let's see.
Yeah, it's just showing me the VOD. I got you still though.
Okay.
I'm gonna just step away and have a dart, but dude,
Okay. I
just
think
so
we're
you
back
know,
up. Hopefully.
are we? Oh, I was gonna say something really nice to you there. Now I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
nothing. I just want bad dad advice. Yeah, we're up now.
Okay. Sorry,
We're,
guys.
we're in pre-rolls. Hold on, we're in pre-rolls.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Oh, we're back. We're back on YouTube.
You know, that's probably what it is. They don't like us talking about AI. I have no
What is
idea what it
W and F
is.
small engines? I don't work on engines. Well, I do, but
That's actually my business.
oh, well that's what's labeled at the bottom of the screen.
Well, it shouldn't be.
A part of it is, at least on the VOD it was.
Oh yeah, that's when you went live. Came in. Yeah, that's why I
Oh, okay.
said I wasn't going to leave it up.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
uh, Not that I'm hard to find. That's actually my business name.
Yeah, it's still up and we're still live over there. So, but yeah, we're back. Yay! Hello, everyone. Yeah, AI sensors. I don't
I
know
would.
if I would call this an intelligent conversation. I would definitely call it two guys hanging out talking awesome, but I don't know how smart it is.
Um, Sorry if you guys hear the cat. Apparently,
It's
my
fine.
wife decided to feed him and go to bed. Would be my guess.
All right, I'll be back
Uh,
in a minute.
yeah, I don't know what happened. It seemed like I lost both of them, so I do apologize. The no, I've got just a cheap headset. Essentially, I don't know what it's called. It, I want one of the the 3D printed ones. But I right now I'm trying to keep all of my budget for my makerspace, so I haven't been buying luxury items. Yeah, the hedamame or whatever it is. Uh, I want one of those to design for it, but the we've been buying everything we've been doing as far as luxury right now has been for the makerspace. I bought the Coke machine, which I only paid $100 for that. That we have to redo, and I've got I bought a few tools here lately for it. Uh, Technically, that was one of the things I would do if it was mine polymorph, but I'd probably put cat heads on the side of them, stuff like that, to see what as far as went. But at the moment, I got to get a hold of the set to test the prints on it. I know TechJeeper has a set, and I could probably con him into printing something on it, but I really want to test print them before I would release the files, polymorph. Uh, so it's going to be and not necessarily for me. I just think that they need the files. I think it would be neat little files for them, but we'd love to design a few things for it. Uh, I appreciate it. I'll have to get a hold of some files or some of the bases to try to see how to. I need a base design to see what it needs to look like at the end product to connect to it. Is realistically what we got to try. But I don't want to spend unfortunately, I don't want to spend the money right now on it. I know, but it's just okay. So I could actually print. I'll have to look at that. Uh, it's more of I don't want to spend the money on the stuff right now. I'm seasonal, so we're going into a slow time. and I'm trying to. Actually, Pez, I said something nice about Chicago, and nobody clipped it. So I I promise I said something nice about Chicago, and nobody clipped it.
Probably because they didn't believe it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that far, Kevin. I'm not going to go that far.
You heard it here, guys. Bob loves Chicago. He just wouldn't want to live there.
Now I do want a Jeep, Polymorph.
Oh, no, say no to Jeeps. Friends don't let friends buy Jeeps unless you're going to build an electric. No, friends don't let friends buy Jeeps. Come on now.
I want a Jeep station wagon, a 1940s Jeep station wagon.
Well, yeah, that's pre 1990. What 6 was it when they changed the Jeep? But it's I like the Wagoneer. I'll be honest, I like the Wagoneer. It's similar to what you're talking about, but I want to do an
Yeah,
electric conversion.
the predecessor to the Wagoneer.
Yeah,
But that car is everything I've ever made fun of in a vehicle.
yeah.
It is a station wagon with fake wood sides in most cases. Not
Why
even
you
real
gotta
wood
hate?
sides.
Why you gotta hate? Why?
What?
The fake wood is for win, dude. Fake wood is always win.
Still, but it's a station wagon
Yep.
with a rear-mounted seat. They actually had those in there.
Which I happen to really like, sir.
Um,
Sir,
it is everything I have ever made fun of in one vehicle.
why you gotta be a hater?
It would have been the first SUV. They called it a station wagon, but
Yeah, it
guaranteed
was.
would have been
Yeah,
the first SUV.
because it was higher. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's
It's tall.
everything
It's what
I've
a
ever made.
20.
So I want one. I just
Who doesn't want a Wagoneer?
well, this would. I don't think they called them Wagoneers at that time. It would have been something else. Uh, I'd like the school bus version, technically,
Yeah,
that they
yeah,
made,
yeah, yeah.
but those are a little more rare.
Well,
Uh,
I'm the guy who likes international panel vans. You just can't get them, right? And international panel vans were a high riding, like, pre SUV SUV. That's what they were.
I would take a panel van, but I don't think the wife would want a panel van. She would want the windows
But the
to
dream
see
is a
out.
hearse, man. The dream is a hearse.
I honestly do not disagree. If you're looking at a maker vehicle, a hearse is the. It really is. You
It's
put a
the dream.
full sheet of plywood in the back of it.
Yes, sir. And you can roll it
Uh,
out because it has built-in rollers in the bed. If you don't strip it,
yeah,
you can put a full sheet of ply in there. You can get full length 6 footers. Sorry, 8-footer 2x4s, 2x6s, 4x4s, whatever you want. Not only that, but you can get cabinets in it. You can put cabinets in it. It's already pre-lit. It's already like, yeah, they're a little swanky on the inside, right? But they're all like, the hearse is like, for any real maker, it's panel vans and hearses are the go. Although minivan, I'd go for a minivan at this point.
I actually think a hearse would be better because they're normally well taken care of.
Oh yeah,
They're
small engines though.
they're cheap. They're honestly, I think a hearse would probably be the best vehicle for a true maker. Nobody's going to break in and steal anything out of it.
No. Well, and if you leave it, like if you don't, because that's the thing is you see guys get them, they dress them up, they make them look like something. But if you leave it be, maybe do some engine work, some suspension work, because it's old, right? Double check the brakes, maybe go away from the drums to discs in the back, right? Brembo kits or whatever. You can get something, right? And just do a little engine work because they're normally small engines. Make sure you double check your fuel pumps, and because it didn't run very long, so those fuel pumps have to run, right? It's just how they work. But yeah, like hearses are classy.
I mean, I'd take one, but I think a Jeep would probably show up better at shows. And if I'm going to be, I'd like to go to where we're doing craft shows or do car shows, stuff like that, and have fun.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, that's why I'm not totally antisocial. I'd like to go sell keychains and see people, but
Bob, we don't think you're antisocial. We just think you're small town. What's wrong with being small town? I like small town. There's nothing wrong with being small town. You don't have to be a city person. It's okay.
yeah, it's more traffic. I want to be. I like getting up and walking down the stairs to go to work.
Well, I'm jealous of that. You know, like we've talked at the length about that. Like the idea of either having underneath you or behind you your store and your shop. You know, I'm envious and green with that. And I know, like you were saying earlier, oh well, I need to clean it up, but you're a pack rat. But every fixum, every millwright, every whatever you want to call the term of what you do, everybody's a pack rat because you never know when you might need a part.
I mean, Kevin, a raccoon keychain from a guy in a hearse would actually be fitting. I mean, it's a trash panda with a hearse. Come on. I think it. I think it would work, but the Jeep also. I mean, I sell a lot of ducks, and I'll be honest, I make fun of Jeeps a lot. So driving a Jeep would actually be fitting. Let's be real. I think it would be a very fitting vehicle for me. So I do kind of want the Jeep. It's also they were ugly enough; they're pretty. That the
Oof, I don't.
40.
I wouldn't go that far. They're boxy, like the old ones,
Uh,
like the old civilian ones, not the military ones, but the old civilian ones, the family grocery getter. I don't know if I would call them pretty, but they are boxy.
it's
They
got
give
it.
nice shape.
I mean, it looks like somebody took a Jeep and put a station wagon on it. I mean, it really does.
There you go. There's the defense. If it's dirty, you don't have to worry about it because it's a Jeep because nobody cares.
No, I'm not. I I'm not a rat rod guy because I grew up where was. I call it poor at one point. A poor man's going to paint that vehicle. That's the way it's going to happen.
I think not me, not me. I paint
uh,
is one of those things I cannot agree on because it's so much money. Like paint is so, and you can get nice tires, you can get nice rims, you can redo your suspension, you can do your engine build for the price of a nice paint job.
See, I drove a station wagon when I was in high school. I had a company car. I was a supervisor, and I drove a station wagon. We drove it. We'd driven it through cornfields. It had no paint left on it. It smelled like liquor because the corn in it that had been stored in it was fermenting. Not because of actual liquor in
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
uh, grain was in it.
Yeah.
So it smelled like alcohol. It was the ugliest vehicle I think I've ever driven in my life. But I drove that when I was in high school. So there's no way in hell I'm going to drive anything like that again. That's not if I can keep from it. Now I was happy because it was a vehicle I didn't have to pay for. So there's that benefit, but I'm not going to go back to that. So my vehicle is going to be painted. Uh, all the stuff we're wanting to restore, we're actually going to want to try to get it as close to factory, not factory look as
Well,
we
that
can.
Coca-Cola machine that you've got, I'm so looking forward to that. Like I really
The
am.
one,
Like
the two things I'm looking forward the most is I've got a paint shaker from the 1940s that looks gothic, or that one's beautiful to me.
Art
And I've
Deco.
got a server rack that was part of the original radar system for America
Ooh.
from the 1940s. Essentially, a server rack built in the 1940s. You put servers or computer servers in it, built today, and I think that one will be a beautiful build. It's
And
also
useful, very useful. Like server racks for what they are, especially the old ones with the big gap in them, like where it's a shelf. They're like they're really cool. And what's that plug called? The 8-pin power plug that turns in or whatever, the military plug. I forget what it's called, but that'd be cool.
I don't. It doesn't have that. This was built into the wall. Essentially, it it was a technically a radio, but it was just like today's server racks. Uh, you can date it because it was only made for 6 months with all of the hardware in it. It's got the old Motorola logo. It's and the new Motorola logo in the same box, original, which is very rare. It's only 6 months, so it's a really cool piece. Plus, in fact, I worked for Motorola when I got out of college. I think it's kind of neat to have that behind me. It's going to go probably somewhere in here, hopefully. Looking forward to that one. I was trying to think. Outside of that, her lathe is going to be a fun build.
That's another one.
Um,
The Coca-Cola machine I'm looking forward to. The lathe I'm looking forward to. The paint mixer is a cool thing. but it's the Coca-Cola machine, the lathe, and there's something else you have laying around that you were saying that's sitting, you're just waiting for its time. Some sort of stitching machine or something. I can't remember. Maybe I'm
Oh, the leather sewing machine. Yes. Now that one I've got a lot of plans for. Yeah, the radio's gone out of it, Kevin. Uh, the leather machine, I'd like to put a butcher block table on it and laser engrave some of that. Uh, paint all the pieces with a hot rod theme. So that one's going to be a little before I can get to it. We have powder coating and all the setup for it, but I'd also there's part of me that wants Tech Cheaper gave me a site that had plans to build a CNC embroidery machine. And there's part of me, because of the way that this is set up, it would be capable of doing it on leather. And there's a small portion of me that wants to take a 1950s leather sewing machine and make it a CNC embroidery machine.
Well, like my patch machine, my leather patch machine. So that's like the one I have. It's a hand wheel. That because it's cam operated is so close. Other than the annoying fiddling with the lower bobbin, it is so close that you can put controls on it because it's cam operated. So you know the cam timing, right? And then you'd have to change the base plate and put a stepper foot on the bottom to push it forward. But the machine itself, like because it's in the cabinet here beside me, but the machine itself, like because it's a boot patch machine, it has like a very forward step. You can adjust the timing on the cams and everything. It's like
This has got it's cam driven, but it's got a 3 horsepower motor.
yeah.
Which
I got a hand wind.
I'm not sure why you need a 3 horsepower motor for a sewing machine, but
probably just what was available at the time.
We bought 2 of them. We converted one to a what was it? Servo motor setup to where it's speed control. I'd like to do this one the same. It just yeah. And I know it's stupid that I want to put a butcher block top on it and make it pretty, but I really want to someday have a makerspace that's a kind of an event thing where somebody could actually travel and come and have fun.
I agree.
Vintage equipment.
Yeah.
Like that 1940, I think it's between 46 and 1948 on the Coke machine.
Yeah.
To have that up there where they get that, to have that 1920s lathe, especially if we can make it CNC, to, everything
well,
in here.
Even positional sensors on that lathe, like it doesn't have to be CNC, but even with I forget what the control panels are called, pre CNC, but
BFD or not BFD,
EMAs or whatever.
Yeah.
But basically a positional sensor like that, so it's calibrated and then auto feed, like electric auto feed. That alone, instead of cam operated feed, that alone, right? Like that's cool. Like that's
at that stage, I might as well make that one CNC. I've got a South Bend lathe that's a heavy 9 or a 10-inch. It's called a heavy 9, but it's technically a 10-inch lathe. I've got that one. I'm going to leave manual. I really would like to see the vintage one become CNC if I can pull it off.
Do you have a 4-jaw for that machine as well?
I've got a 4-jaw for the South Bend. I've only got a 3-jaw for the
so an auto center jaw. That's fine. It's not like an end of the world.
And I have a 3-jaw for the South Bend as well.
You can cut a jaw on that lathe. Like that lathe is one of the only machines in the world that can build itself, right?
Yeah, the thing on the little one is, I am not a fan of using a CAD program for a lathe. I've had too many issues. Yeah. It's a lot more complicated than, or at least in my experience it was. Maybe it's changed, but it's a lot more complicated to program a lathe than it was a mill for me. So the speeds, the issues of chucking it was easier for me to do all the lathe projects manually. I had never found anything I couldn't do manually that I could do with the CNC with the equipment that I had.
Well, like when I was like, because I'm getting the CNC milling, right? Well, this is the first one, right? And this was pretty simple. It's just a box with some letters. But I screwed up the design so bad because I ended up with negative space on this one. It was supposed to be the other way around. Where's the letters and everything? So I understand what you're saying when you come like, oh, CNC, because like even me, I'm still like learning, right? And I do the next one would be to do a mill with the mandrel, right? With the turning and do that. But I feel you, man.
I have a CNC lathe that's working, or not lathe, but a CNC mill that's working. But it's a wood setup, not metal.
Well, you can cut aluminum with it and brass.
Yes, theoretically, it doesn't have it's got a router on it as a spindle.
Yeah, but that'll still cut brass and that'll cut aluminum. It will.
Yeah, it's just a lot of chatter
Yeah.
on it. So I've got that, and it's got bearings on it. It's a 48 inch by 48 inch on it, so it's a decent size.
Well, I'm
CNC
still waiting to see you do some brass on that and make some EDC pry bars. I know we talked about it, but I can't wait.
It's expensive for the brass. I mean, that's actually the problem,
right?
Yeah,
and
that's a lot of the issue. We also do have some laser stuff that we got to set. That's part of what we're cleaning up. I'm trying to get to where it's not a job to do a CNC project. I'm trying to get to where I can walk up and run a CNC project, not where half the time I've got it stripped out where I'm using it as a paint room, or
I can see it because we did it. We looked at 3D printed mill or lathe today. Yeah, I'll grab it here. I'll share the link with you, and you can kind of. But this mute the music, by the way. You don't have to play this live or whatever. Do you want me to throw it on Twitch or YouTube?
Actually, if you go into the app you're in, you can actually post it to both.
Okay. So
you post a comment. You should.
You just put it in the comments. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything linked off. Anybody can post a link in my chat right now.
I only got the search. Hold on. I don't know what I'm down at the
bottom it says post a comment. At the bottom of it.
I don't see it. Let me just.
Okay.
I can send it on Discord. I'll send it on Discord. But this is so this brought up to it's with a router, and we had the kind of debate today because it was like, well, what's a mill and what's a router, and a router is basically milling anything soft, and then a mill will mill anything that's hard. But really, like somebody asked me, oh well, can I cut titanium? I was like, man, do you know how hard it is to cut titanium? I was like, no, like most mills won't even cut titanium. Right.
Technically, what the difference is the rigidity of the spindle. Yes. Typically, most of the time, people are using the terms intermittently.
Yeah, and well, that's what I keep telling everyone. Is like when I see a router on a CNC, I'm like, that's a mill. It may not be a heavy duty mill because it's just too light. You can't get the weight that you need. But you know, we used to use Taya to show what we're doing.
Let me see if I can share my desktop here.
But this uses a router. It's a 3D printed machine, and that's what it is, right? And it's like cutting brass. It may be slower passes, but you can cut brass because it all depends on the aluminum. It depends on like even aircraft aluminum is really hard, like it is, and that's what is it 52 aluminum or whatever. People don't know, but it's like even Jerry's got that little he's got 40 by 30, 400 by 300 million. He was cutting aluminum with it. But like he said, he's just like you. He's like, it's expensive, and I agree because that's why I haven't done any milling projects because I want to cut metal right now. That's like my next big step is cutting metal. I want to make some stamps and some coins.
I've thought about making because I thought it'd be neat to have a metal maker chip in a way.
Yeah,
it would. But I'm also Let's see here. Share this up.
Problem is, if you make a mistake in metal, there's no going back. It's just a new sheet of metal. Yeah, see, I have no aluminum right now. Mute the audio. Mute the audio. There you go.
There you go. That's what he's talking about. It's this printed. It's got a lot of square tubing, but
But it was all cut with a table saw, or sorry, a chop saw. So it's not precise by any means.
Yeah, the one we acquired one at least that has got linear rails and everything like that. Now I wouldn't have bought that expensive one myself at the time, but it teach their own. Oh, that sucks. 23 on the Polymaker. I didn't know. Every time I went in Loyal's to look at it because I was curious, it looked like he was taking a break and just leaving the stream running. Because I did see him on the side, but I think he's talking about Loyal Moses. I'm guessing. Yeah, I did see him on the recommended channels. Uh, his thing isn't necessarily my cup of tea.
Oh, don't
I
worry
don't care
about
what everybody else is, huh?
I wouldn't worry about it.
But the 3D printed, I don't think the 3D printed would be that great over time on that. It's going to crack. You're going to have too much vibration.
And remember, the material's soft, so it's going to lose zero. But the fact that if you look at this, it's got a Makita router on it. So when you say, oh, well, I don't know if I can cut aluminum or rust, you can't, because that's like a Makita handheld. That's not even one of the old ones. So.
Yeah, I don't even know what router I've got on it right now, but yeah, I'll pull that one off. But yeah, I don't think that the prints are going to hold up to the motors or vibration of it. Same with like a 3D printed lathe. We actually discussed making a 3D model of the lathe. In fact, I even worked on it and releasing that the 1920s lathe, all the curves, everything, and or at least inspired by it. I'm not going to be able to recreate that exact design, but the recreate that vibe and make it build a lathe mill type setup off that, or at least or a mill with fourth axis, and build a beautiful machine. It's actually a goal of mine.
Yeah.
At some point, I'll sit down and do it.
Well, I feel you, man. I have a 3D printer design at like 80%. I just don't have the energy to do it. Right. I feel you.
The problem is I have a day job.
Yeah.
That's actually that's the issue. If I had more time, I could probably do it. And I don't think I'm ever going to be without a day job. I don't think I can make enough to pay my bills off of my designs, or even the wife's designs mostly. She does more of the work than I do, but I don't think that I could ever, or at least with our stuff, and being honest with people, I don't think I could make enough. The only way to really do that is to throw up AI slop, in my opinion, and mass produce, create 3 or 4 accounts, that sort of thing.
Well, that's basically what Thingiverse. That's what the interview with Thingiverse on with Lil, right? That's what you're saying. It's just the market isn't there. It's like for you to expect to make, and not everyone can be, a big designer. The thing is like, and I've always defended it, is like you make really great fidgets, and it's just like people aren't finding you, and that's my opinion. Because like I've got your bees here, right? And if I could end up going to Manchester, I bring a ton of these. But it's just finding the right. And you're talking to the guy who's always trying to stay positive about that sort of stuff. So.
Oh, now that's a lot of it. And I've had issues with being bad at social media. I'll admit that those are our faults because we have day jobs and we haven't spent the time on it. She spends a lot of time on design, more than what people would believe, but we haven't spent the time on our social media. So I don't have the design or the files or the members that a lot of people have. And I'm not saying that I deserve them or whatever, but that's a side. The best files are not winning. I guarantee you. It's more advertising and marketing.
Popularity contest. Yeah.
And I also know that me calling my wife the dishwasher is not probably the best marketing strategy, right?
Yeah, but when people hear your love story, which and you do tell it, you're very honest about it. I think that it doesn't really matter because it's all in context, right? Everything is in context. So If I
Yeah,
were
I
you, I
mean,
wouldn't beat yourself up over it.
um, my I would not recommend my dating advice to a lot of people because most people we moved in together, started construction of a house, and started a business. That is not normal behavior. That
That's
that's
love,
like
man.
asking for a divorce. The fact that we survived it, I mean, and the fact that we're happy years later, um, you know, and most men would not take their wife to work every day if they had a choice.
I don't know. I definitely would want my
Uh,
wife to be in that part of my life, right?
Strong, starting a relationship with duct tape.
There you go.
I have joked that I think she's got Stockholm syndrome at this point, but you know, yeah, I wouldn't recommend a lot of that. Now it works for us,
Yep.
but no, I wouldn't tell people to. Um, I definitely would not tell you, hey, move in together and start construction of the house that you're living in while living in it. Um, yeah, I wouldn't. I would not suggest that to somebody.
But
Um,
maybe that is maybe people need some bad dad advice. Maybe people need that stuff because the world's a different place now, but maybe it's lost its way on traditional things.
I
My
actually do think working with her is a benefit. I really do. The downside is you get codependent
so
because, like,
so
I
what?
thought about it the other day. I've gone years without fixing a plate because she'd use it. She'll bring me a plate when she's done cooking. Um, I know that the dishwasher thing is I haven't. I've done dishes at my mother's house, uh, but other than that, I haven't done dishes in years. I mean,
I don't know.
you just
You're talking to the guy who won't travel anywhere in the world unless his girlfriend's with him. So
if I could get by with that, I would go that route. But again, I get to do that. I would have to increase our making funds to where I could
oh no,
quit
you,
my day
you were
job.
just saying how codependent you were, and I was like, well, you're talking to the guy that just
Yeah.
I won't travel, I won't go to events, I won't take personal time, I just won't do it because I was saying it earlier, it's like her and I together, like if you want, that's what you get, right? So because I can't do it, and she takes good care
Uh,
of me when it is stuff, right? So
and
again,
she's sitting here. I know she's quiet, but she hasn't gone to bed.
oh, she
Uh,
there? Is she there?
yeah, she's sitting right
Well,
next to me.
Come
Murph!
here.
I'm so glad you
Uh,
convinced him to do Murph. Oh, you're always my favorite. You know that. You're
I've
always
got it
my
on a
favorite.
headset so she doesn't because we're doing
Aw,
feedback.
oh,
Yeah.
You can
dang.
hear her voice, but
I don't
Aw.
see anything. I don't hear anything.
she doesn't have the screen up right now. But yeah, she's actually sitting right next to me. She a lot of times she won't go up to the apartment without me going up with her. I don't know if that's what her issue is tonight or not.
You
But
know that's called traditionalism, and there's nothing wrong with that, right?
there is nothing wrong as long as both parties are on the same thing. It doesn't matter what you do. I'm probably the more liberal of the two of us. She's a conservative of the two of us.
That's okay.
That is actually
That's
currently
right,
what we're
Liz.
working towards, Pez Liz.
Bob
Is
is taunting us with going to Midwest Rep Rap.
no, you started this. I just because I already said that was a goal. But yes, that is actually that's currently what she's telling people. We're trying to get the back cleaned out to where I can get more efficient at work and go to Murph.
Incentive. It's called incentive.
Yes, she's calling it incentive. I've got to haul off a bunch of stuff. She's trying to get me to get rid of stuff, man.
Listen,
Oh,
the community has wanted you to come to events for years now. We all adore you. If you can make it to an event, everyone will jump for joy. Everyone will be excited to have you there. Don't ever doubt that.
we'll we'll know by spring because I'd have to get plans. It's early enough because I think you have to get hotels and all that, but we're working on it.
If he can actually film the back, then
Yes. She says if I can film the back without being embarrassed, we'll be cleaned enough to where I can do it.
Well, we did like we didn't do hotel. We did Airbnb. So don't limit
I'm
yourself, right?
I'm not limiting myself. I'm fine with an Airbnb. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
And I maybe will talk some people into going in and
Oh yeah.
doing an event as far as on the side, get a couple rooms or whatever, and rent them out. But we will be. Oh, that is one thing. I'll have to work on a 3D printed fan. We'll also have, if I'm going to Murph, you'll see another sign of a large project being
Ooh.
done.
Ooh.
So that's that will be some other signs because 3D, well, won't all be 3D printing, but a very large bring AC. I'm actually, Liz, I work outside. So,
I didn't mind it.
I mean,
It was warm. Like I'll admit it was warm, but I was there, full shirt, full pants, jacket. I didn't mind it. It was hot. Like there's no mix, but it wasn't. It's not like when it gets hot here. So
yeah, now there's showers on site. Yeah. Yeah, I understand it's hot, and it's hot out here. It's probably not to where it's going to be comfortable all day for a lot of people, unless you can get by a fan every once in a while. I get that, but there's been years where it's over 100 degrees when we do the Frog Follies car show. Yeah, and I'll be doing math while sitting there at that. Now that sucks.
I don't think they call it
math. What?
I said they don't call that math.
What?
Trying to do math while it's hot, that's not math.
Yeah, it's...
the struggle is real.
Yeah, trying to do math and sales, like, oh, I bought 50 of these, when it's 100 degrees out. Yeah, that sucks. But yeah, it's still debatable as far as whether or not we can go. Because I am busy. It'll only be one of us, but we're going to work at it.
That's awesome.
I just got to figure out how to pay
so
for
exciting. That is so exciting.
We'll, yeah. Now that's also going to be a little. It's dependent on funds. But we'll know before advanced. I don't know. I don't know where we're sitting this year. I only get paid once a year, and then we have to budget for the entire next year. But it takes till tax season to truly know what I made, or when we start doing the money for taxes. So
that was me this year for sure.
That's an issue. Well, I have a retail store, so my money can go up and down considerably. I mean, it's insane what I could spend in a month. I have written $100,000 checks. Now I don't have that sitting in my bank account. I'm not, wealthy or by any means.
You're just like a farmer. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm like a farmer, but without subsidies, type deal. So a retail store can, yeah. I think the highest check I've written is probably $150,000. And I had the money in the bank to clear the check.
But that's
just
that's what it's for. Yeah.
So when people like, oh, well, you got money or something like that, maybe. And it's going in and out so fast because I do get bad checks every year. People rip me off all the time, unfortunately. So my money can go up and down per month, and I could lose. I've gone to work where I paid a week or $1,000 in the week to go to work.
Yeah.
So what we do is I scrimped for so many years to where I got a year in advance, and I know it sounds like I have money, but I work off this bank account for that year, and then next year I'll get more.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I'm at yet.
Just save it. Say what? There's a name for that, but yeah.
But we are planning on it, and I do think it's probably possible. We have an idea, I guess, of what we made this year. A rough idea, But
well,
it could change here.
We crowdfunded just under $4,000, and we just scrimped by. So it's like, and I didn't do any shows this year, right? And I know everyone kept asking me to do shows. I'm still getting like for Form Next in Germany. I'm still getting requests for it. But like next year, I don't think we're doing any shows either, right? So it's like it is what it is, right? So I feel your pain and I totally understand, dude.
I don't really. I In my case, I don't want to crowdfund because I could, even if I'm broke, I could probably write a check for that. I just suffer later,
Yeah,
type deal. So I don't want to crowdfund. I mean,
yeah,
maybe if I can get a sponsorship opportunity, maybe a different story, but where I could work a booth or something. But I don't want to crowdfund and do that because I don't want to take from anybody else in my position. Um,
yeah.
because my version of broke might be different than somebody else's.
Yeah, like, and that's why, like this year, like we did no crowdfunding, we did nothing for any projects, nothing like that. I totally like that's where I was at this year because it was like it was just too much, and it just we didn't have the funds for it. We didn't, and we probably won't have the funds for it next year. So it's like it was nice for me to go to Murph that one time, and if I don't get to go again, that's fine. But you haven't got to go, and remember, you know, I still have this, and this means the world to me, right? This is every maker chip that I collected, and it's in a Bob bottle, brought to me by the incredible, generous Tech Cheaper and the toy you two made. So please don't think you're not. Oh, sorry, forget the Green Gate thing. They were just really nice, but like people want you there, and there are opportunities. And like you say, if you don't want to go crowdfunding, there is sponsorships. There's all kinds of deals, right? Like I'm sure I'm sure like you shouldn't stress about it. You just kind of have to decide you want to go and then go from there. Yeah, there you go.
We've
So
been
like,
buying some wood up for a project, and we've got some ideas of a couple things we want to do. One of them actually has to do with maker chips, but as far as a game, or a couple of them actually, but that we will be working on this winter.
well, look at what Pez Liz just posted. She says there's
Yeah,
opportunities, especially if you get, and you are a project guy, right? There's
uh,
no ifs, ands, or buts. Like you're capable of it, and you're very brilliant. So
yeah. We're the problem is on some of this I got to work with my wife, and there's some computer programming to get the yeah. It's it's great and it's not great, you know.
I understand.
um,
I understand.
uh, there's a thing where she is better at me at certain things to pull it off, and we have to agree and get it the same prod
Gotta get on
on
the
it.
same page.
A huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
be same page.
Uh, to to get the to get a large project able to, or a large project done to the level of what we want, it's going to be a challenge. And get both of us working with the same design spec on some of it. Uh, yes, I definitely drive Teslas, but yeah, see that's part of it. Anytime I go to a show, I'm going to rent a vehicle though because of the fact of we only have the one anymore.
And the super amount of kilometers you'd be putting on it,
Well,
600
it's
miles, whatever.
I'm driving a full size truck. I'm not talking like even an F-150. I know it's a 3/4 ton, but I use that for my business. And I know it's not the biggest truck. I'm not talking like shenanigans, but it's a lot of fuel to drive that truck anywhere. We're talking gallons per mile,
Well,
not miles per gallon type
like
deal.
on our rental, I think we paid 400 in fuel on our rental, and we didn't go anywhere. We went to we went from Chicago Airport down to Goshen. I think we did some bombing around in Goshen, not very much, like a couple hours maybe, and then back, and it was like 400 in fuel, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I actually could probably rent a vehicle for about the same. And I was also thinking I drive a pickup truck, and the project I'd want to bring would be large enough I'd look at a van type deal.
Abatus, it's just it ends up being a long drive, and it was like, yeah.
I do. It's a older Chevy model. I don't have anything. My truck is a 2002, I think. So I'm not
Oh
looking
yeah,
at a new truck.
like the ones we were driving was like, so I went in 2024, I think. What's it this year? Yeah, so I went in 2024, and we're driving in 2023, like um what was it, like a Explorer or something like that? It's a Ford Explorer, something, some small SUV. But see, the problem was the flight in. So we got sponsored for the flight in. I got sponsored, just me though. I got sponsored in for the flight, and then like, how do I bring anything? And now with the way the border is, it's really sticky, which is where it doesn't affect you, right? But I think like you could definitely bring a project. I don't know how I would ever bring stuff. Like, I just don't know how I'd get it through. But I think it'd be really like, I think that, I know you're on the fence about it, and I know it's like a budget constraint for you, but I really do think that it would be a really great experience for you, and you just see how much the community really loves you and all the work that you do.
It's depending. I got a lot of projects to do this winter. We really want to get this makerspace working.
Yeah.
Um, I really think it would be cool in my lifetime to be able to offer kids in our area a chance to use the drill press that built the World Trade Center doors
That'd be
right
amazing.
here
Yeah, yeah.
in our shop. That's to be able to 3D print. We've got a bunch of printers. We're not using them all the time. And we could buy more at that rate, but we got a full complement of 3D printers open some days. The CNC routers, all of that. Yeah, we're wanting to build a full-on makerspace. That's the dream. Um, and that's true, Peslas. I agree. Uh,
Couldn't agree more with her.
it's going to be for adults with and kids with supervision, because the makerspace will be all older equipment. We're opening up a 1920s lathe. This is not this. I'm gonna work what I can to build safeties, but let's also be real. You know, there's limitations.
Well, there's a reason why there's a
Um,
trade specifically for running lathe, right?
yeah, but we've got welders. A kiln,
What's the name of your makerspace, Bob? What's the maker's name of your makerspace, Bob? Tell us, tell us, tell us.
I was actually thinking originally it was going to be Maker House, but I think it's going to be Built Over Bot now, because I think the Built Over Bot name will work.
Why wouldn't it
But
be Maker Haas built over bot?
we can work on the titling. But I was actually going to use Maker House. It really was.
There's nothing wrong
I
with that.
discussed
I
it.
told you.
And I honestly asked. That's why he's asking. I asked him first before I said I was going to call it Maker House, because he had always called his that.
Yep.
But we're actually talking like a blacksmith shop. Um, that
Bob and I are very similar on ideas on this.
We've got car lift in here. Now that would have to be if I ever close the business, I guess, on a car lift, but because I use it.
Bob
I've
Haas?
talked on
Nice.
that. But the insurance, we actually have a lot of it for our normal business. That's actually not as big of a problem as you would think. 4 posts. I don't have a 2 post. So that's not weird reasons, but we actually run a 4-post lift, so it's a little safer than a 2-post. It actually drops your insurance a lot, because 2-post, if an idiot's running it, it's dangerous. They'll pull
Well,
out
not
of the
only could they
ground.
tip over, but they can tip over either way, front, back, left, right, and they if you're underneath them and the vehicle is not in the right position, it can fall off.
Right. That's why. I mean, and we may never open the car lift to customers. That might be just mine. But we actually have
But they can watch
welding
you work
here.
on projects, right? Like that's the coolest thing. Like when you and I talked about this, because you're not doing very good at selling the idea, Bob. But the idea was that you could go do courses, do everything that you'd expect from a community makerspace. But Bob would also be working in his shop on things that he needed to do either for YouTube, for his business, or even a possible live stream. And I thought that was amazing. Personally, I really loved that idea, was to watch you work and do what you're good at.
Look, those runs are. I'll have to look up the proto space. That would actually be interesting. I'm wanting to have, now this will be a future if we can pull it off. We'd like to have some of our machines to where people could pay on Twitch
Oh,
and play some of our machines.
ooh!
We're wanting to build
Hey, Maker Viking.
essentially some games. I'd like to actually have my own pinball machine that's on there. that's mechanic based and maker based, all printed manufactured parts.
Didn't you tell me you have plans for a Plinko?
No, I've got plans for other machines though. Plinko is
IRL Murder Bears, love it.
no, that would actually be neat. I would like a claw machine like they originally built, the original ones with the crane.
Yeah, and
Uh,
the not servo, the inductive coil. Yeah,
yeah. Um, I want some of that stuff on to where people could actually play it running on, and then maybe switch over to where probably maybe not 24 hours, but like when we're working, to where people could talk to me while I'm working and not do some text to speech.
yeah.
Maybe open up the shop during some of the hours. That would be, I think that would be kind of neat. Uh, I've got some ideas of some games that maybe involve maker chips, some older style games that we're going to play with and try to get that done. But it's going to be, I said, the idea, the dream is, and I've got the machinery. The dream is a vintage maker space that looks like something out of Fallout.
Yep.
That's
How
the dream.
great would that be? Like honestly, like
Um,
when we talked about it, I think that's unbelievable. And the stream integration is something that is so cool, right? Like that's just so cool, right?
Uh, I mean, and we're talking about like the cameras will be all 3D printed to where they look like something of that era. All of everything we can be. The leather sewing machines from close enough, to that era. All everything brought to where it does modern stuff with that vintage appeal and did cool things. Like when they come in, the leather sewing machine they'll use actually made gloves for World War II on some of it. On a few of the machines. We have machines that uh, essentially did cool stuff. I've got machines that built LST landing craft for World War II. You know, um, I've got some cool stuff in here that we've acquired, vintage stuff. We might be able to open up the blacksmith section in the back that was a blacksmith shop in the late 1800s. You know,
Well, and a lot of these skills are transferable and learnable. Like there's courses available. And that's the thing is you'll always be able to bring in other creators and other sort of people in that trade that because it's it's not dead yet. These ideas are not dead yet. So
technically, if I could get people to come in, I can actually have one of the blacksmiths from Forged in Fire come down here and actually blacksmith.
yeah. And
He's
remember,
a
like
friend of in fact we do 3D printing for him, so that's actually a possibility.
well, that's why
Uh,
when you told me you were thinking about doing it, and you're like, I don't know. I was like, no, man, it's beautiful. You've got the mind for it. You've already sort of got the skill set because you already know how to run a business. There's like Abaddis is telling you all of this great stuff about their space. That it's there, man, and I believe in you, and I do. I think it's great. I do.
and and some of it we're hoping to get it started with us here running the other shop to where it's a section of it. That's why we're trying to clean out. We're trying to make paths through the business to where we can open up these sections of the business to where people can come in and use the equipment while we're open.
Yep.
So it's not like I'm going to rent a new building and, I'm going to open this maker space and I'm going to, buy all this equipment and rent the building and all this. I'm talking opening a maker space with equipment I have, no debt on the equipment, and a building I own with me already there.
Now remember though,
So
but remember you're gonna need a member exclusive story time with Bob. That's mandatory. Mandatory.
we want people to show up, not skip it, Jack Jeeper. We need to do story time with Yoshi. Still
There you
need
go.
to dig that thing out. Um, I mean, I'm if he's going to be there, definitely. But I'll see about it. I used to think that we were going to put a fireside chat back here and do a fireside chat because I actually at one time joked about it.
Burning
That's beside the
burning
point.
car side chat.
Yeah, with a vintage rocking chair. We actually discussed it at one time as a joke, uh, doing a fireside chat uh, back here because we thought about putting one of those fake fires heaters in the back wall behind me. Put that in. The whale tour patrons. I, we're going to try to make sure everybody gets something on the Patreon, and even the stuff like if I do uh, the LED stuff flames. I do have wood burning stoves that we could set up, but the problem is my building is so tall you can't get it to draw. So and insurance
Oh yeah.
for a wood burning stove with gasoline on the property, the amount of gasoline that I run, now that I can't afford. Hardly a lathe I can afford. Wood burning stove is out of the question.
Yeah, but there's
for
those enclosed fireplaces for propane or natural gas. There's a heater with LED
Can't
lights.
have an open flame. I actually have to hide my torch when the insurance agent comes by.
Really?
My acetylene.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. I'm inland marine,
Okay.
so on insurance, I can actually sell gasoline, and we have
Okay.
hundreds of gallons of gas because we sell. Uh, it's not. It's called
Is it?
True Fuel.
Are you making race fuel? Are you being? Let's be honest. Are you making race fuel over there?
We sell VP fuel.
Okay, good enough. We don't need to talk any more about it.
Yes.
Look, I'll be honest. I'm the one that wants to do the biodiesel with the converted oils with extra methanol ethanol, right? That's like I've always wanted to do that because it's just vegetable oil with a sifter and let sit, right? You can burn vegetable oil in a diesel, no problem. The only problem is you lack a little horsepower because it loses the ethanol, right? But
Yeah, we actually do sell VP fuels, and we talked about selling propane. Not propane accessories, just propane. um,
we'll start calling you
uh,
Bobby.
yeah. We did actually discuss selling propane for a while. So
What do you got against
I,
accessories?
um, yeah, we basically they're using it for equipment now, and we work on propane equipment.
Yep.
So we discussed it. One of my customers owns a place that sells propane, and the insurance versus sending customers to him was not
Oh yeah.
justifiable.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we actually discussed it for a while, selling propane, and we could make money at it. It's just that's a
Scott, my problem with propane heaters is it's a wet heat. I've worked much time around propane heaters. Yes, they're super efficient, but I find it's a wet heat, and I don't know how to explain it, but you always get cold after standing near propane.
technically you're right. I mean, I could probably you're right. Some of the stuff I guess you could call a propane accessory. We do sell, but uh, we actually used to sell grills too. I mean, uh, smokers.
Yeah, we lots of propane in the factories I've been. Lots of propane forklifts. 5,000 pounders, nothing too big.
Yeah, propane inside is a little bit better
Well, it's
for
like
burning
90.
in an engine.
It's supposed to be something like 98% efficient. I could be wrong. I think it might even be higher than that. But yeah, that's like we use lots of propane facilities in
Well,
all the factories I've been in.
it's efficient enough it doesn't choke people out as fast. Is
And
kind
then
of
the electrics. The problem with the electrics, like he says, with the electrics, is the charging stations.
yeah. I mean, well, I know that everybody's going to think differently, like the trucks. But what scares me is that's like napalm. I mean, when those batteries go up,
Oh yeah, I've seen
wow.
one kick off, and all it took was they didn't put the so you know how the 4x8 is sitting underneath the driver. he didn't hook up his terminals enough, and his seat came down. The top lid came down, split his cables, grounded out across the frame, and the whole thing cooked off. And that was on lead acid batteries, not the lithium ones. I need to step away for a minute. Is that okay?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Do you want to step out or off the camera?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, you can step me out.
The switch over. I guess I'll just leave this camera up. I run a tractor. Technically I run a skid steer for unloading equipment. I don't actually have a fork truck. Fork trucks don't transverse some of the terrain I have very well, so I have to run essentially a skidder due to the hill next to us. And a skid steer essentially is a closer to my style. Now I would like to switch over to a tractor, but we run skidders for forks. But yeah, we actually operate that. Again, I've got a weird shop. In fact, as we do things, and say if people see some of the restorations, you'll see my shop is not normal by any sense of the word. We actually have all of the equipment to build an engine back there. I also do have a electronics setup that's decent. I've never actually done anything like fork truck Olympics. I have driven a fork truck since I was a kid. Yeah, you do need a counterweight, and for what I'm running now, because we're getting out of the larger equipment. There's no money in it. You're trading dollars, so we're getting out of some of the bigger stuff and going more towards parts and service. In fact, we're discussing dropping all of our everything that's super large to the point where I don't know that I'll be carrying any large equipment next year. We're going to go straight parts. The insurance on our business is based upon pay or sales, and I think I'm losing money on some of the big stuff because you don't make any money on it. You'll make $200 or $300 on a $10,000 machine, and I'm not sure I'm not paying that out of insurance, but it's hard to tell. So, that is actually the drawers from a grade school that I went to, technically, Liz. So that is actually the library cabinet from the grade school that I attended. Okay, Maker's back, so I'm going to bring him back up.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Bob Show with special guest myself, Maker Millwright. Everybody, get some emotes in chat for Bob. He's here chatting us up. This is the most I've ever seen him be exuberant about the conversation. I love having him here, man. He's a wonderful human being.
I don't do Mahindra parts. Cool. Most of those are metric. I've got some stuff, but I've never been a Mahindra dealer. I was a Bobcat dealer. Technically, I just sold my Bobcat sign because we have our.
Look at all these! Look at all these for you, Bob. Look at all this excitement for you. You just love having. I love having, man. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm so grateful.
We actually we sold Hustler and Bobcat as our primary lines. So I sold Hustler lawnmowers, Bobcats, larger or Bobcat equipment. But we are, as I said, in the process of dropping some of that.
I love Bobcats. I love any rolling hydraulic platform. But I'm bad because I know the pumps are never big enough. I always want to bring a secondary spare line off, and a lot of the machines aren't built for it. Even the cases aren't built for it, and the cases have the larger displacement.
Yeah, unfortunately, not that Hustler Tech Cheaper.
So Bob, tell us about your dreams of building lawnmowers for racing.
I have no dreams of building lawnmowers for racing. I am not ever doing that one.
Don't judge.
I did it
Judge.
when I was younger. Now I'm more of a drive far mechanic than a drive fast mechanic. You can't do both.
Yeah. Well, there's no drive
And
fast in Canada anymore, so I agree with you. Fun and torquey. What's that? You once showed me tractors that were converted into cars or something. What do you call them? Winderdoodles or wazzledoodles?
no, it's cars converted to tractors. They were called doodle bugs.
Doodlebug.
Yes, they apparently in World War II they stopped selling tractors, so people converted cars into tractors. They're called doodle bugs. Yeah, I know. Weird thing as far as my mind. My wife calls it the dumpster, but it was a thing back then, and you can actually still find the stuff. You can even find you can find people. There was a business that made little not golf carts, but something similar that for mines that was called the Doodle Bug. But yeah, they actually would convert like just a normal truck right into a tractor and run it on the farm back then because war rations.
Yep, that's what was available, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm the kind of guy that when a guy gave me the opportunity to tour the factory where they built, because oddly it still existed a few years ago. It has burned down since. But Sears and Roebuck actually built a truck.
Did they?
You would receive the truck and build the bed out of the crate. So everything was built on site, including the crates, all of it. And I was like a kid in a candy store going through the tour of the factory because all the stuff was still there.
That's awesome.
I even got a lawnmower that was built that was hidden in the corner, a little push mower. It's in my shop. I have one of the lawnmowers built out of that place.
Well, you know that Sears catalog houses to this day are still standing throughout the United States. They're remarkably well built. Yeah.
But they actually built a car.
That's wild.
And a pickup truck in the States. We went through the factory, or I did. Private car show. I was at the car show we do the show at, and a guy goes, "Oh, you want to go to a private car show?" Because I was making fun of his daughter's Jeep. And he thought that was funny. So I ended up giving her one of her old files on there is a duck valve stem cover. So I made some in brown and told her at least then her Jeep touched something mud colored. Gave her 4 of those. And so he took me on a tour of the facility. It's a car collector thing now. He actually has Duesenbergs in it, Doodlebugs.
Doozies.
He's got there's a Ford Mustang that's worth a fortune one year. I can't remember what year it was.
The first year of the Mach 1?
It isn't Mach 1, but it's the car's worth $250,000.
Wow.
And he let me drive it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm not a Mustang guy, but still driving a $250,000 car, hey.
Can't complain, right?
Yeah. But he let us go on a tour of it, mainly because of making fun of his daughter and her Jeep. He was a wealthy man.
Making fun of people makes friends, man. I tell people that all the time.
But yeah, and he found out I had a mower company, and they actually made mowers at the factory for a short bit too. And he had one sitting in the corner as a push mower, not a lawnmower.
Sure. Yeah.
One of those. And he let me haul it home.
So we got a lot of projects to look forward to this year from you, I guess, eh?
That one actually is in perfect shape, so that's never going to be. But you'll see, we do have a lot of projects here. If I can get time, that's my problem. Unfortunately, I work a lot of hours. I will get up at 5 in the morning, and a lot of times, now you'll see me chat throughout the day for short bits and then disappear because I have a computer at on my toolbox. But there's days where I come in here at 8 o'clock at night, starting at 4 o'clock in the morning. So, and that's not uncommon. And I'm talking like actual work,
Yep.
Uh,
Not
so,
sitting on your duff drawing pictures, right?
I actually think that's work, but we're talking like in the heat. I'll come in so oily you won't be able to see me. That's why we haven't been streaming during the week. I'll come in where I'm solid oil, and then where I don't even look human.
I know
because
those.
I work for a living in that type of environment. I'll work on things that are so covered in oil, you wonder how in the heck they were checking the oil other than just saying it stopped leaking. Some of the stuff the oil's 20 years old, never been done.
So what's your so in the last year or so, what was your favorite project? Like, what was your favorite thing that somebody brought into you? Said, "Hey, can you fix this for me?" Just thinking.
The last year, probably haven't had anything cool. I mean, it's fun to work on like a washing machine that's a little bit more rare. Favorite thing ever was a guy brought me in a Briggs & Stratton engine that ran on moonshine that Briggs said didn't exist. And it did. It was look factory for moonshine.
Did it run on like methanol, or did it run on like just moonshine in general, like alcohol?
Methanol. But it was designed to actually operate on homemade methanol, essentially. And that was kind of cool to work on. I worked on a Briggs & Stratton car from the 1920s once. That was kind of cool. Or I think it might have been pre-20s. But that was really cool. Done a bunch of gas-powered washing machines, gas-powered stuff, things like that. But not most stuff is normal. I mean, it's not,
Well, what's a normal? See, because like people don't know what you do, right? So what's a you don't have to get into details, but what's a normal project for you? What's your bread and butter? I guess is the question.
I am one of the suckers that still do engine rebuilds. So I'll do full teardowns, and I won't take it down, bore it out, redo the heads. Although I have all the equipment to do so, you can't afford me to labor-wise, so I can't do that. But I'll do a lot of internal components. So you'll see entire days where half the day I did one machine.
Are you doing like valves and lifters and stuff, or what?
Oh, valves that's a couple-hour job. We're talking like camshafts, and on a vertical shaft engine especially, you're looking at 4 hours on a lot of those jobs. I'll do hydraulic rebuilds, pumps. I'll do cylinder setups. I've got precision hones here, so I can actually do hydraulic cylinders. I can do. I will do injector pump rebuilds here, depending on the equipment. We actually have the equipment for that, yes. I will do component level repair on electronics, which a lot of people won't do. So you can see me work on anything. I'll work on anything from a bicycle to a home computer. I've even done cell phone repair here. You'll see a lot of fans, oddly, because some of that stuff's worth a fortune, some of those vintage fans. Heck, I've got a Zephyr back there that's, yeah. World War II shop fan that not cheap. Entirely separate things. Like, I mean, I worked as an engineer before this, Matt's. Like, I've worked in computer science, but most of the designs, the good stuff's my wife. Anything great, that's Sandy. Anything adequate, you might be debatable. If it's crappy, it's mine.
I
The
think your
worst of
guitar
the
is very
designs on
nice. I think your
there. Huh?
guitar is very, very nice.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you guessed that one. The really bad ones that didn't do well. That's mine. the uh, my wife is a better designer in every sense of the word. We I avoid body work a little bit, but you're going to see some of that because like there's a lot of rust on that soda machine that I got to clean up. But the thing was built in like 1946, 1947. The pocket billiards is mine. I am the one that built that got Popular Science to publish that I was the inventor of pocket pool. Um, and I do actually have the book. TechCheaper found it. They did change it to pocket billiards. I tried to get them to publish it as pocket pool, but somebody did catch that. I'm guessing enough of it. They still put it out there. But yeah, that and I still say that is my that's my proudest moment to get Popular Science to attribute me as the inventor of pocket pool. That's I think that's a good accomplishment in your lifetime, right?
I agree.
Um,
I think that is very, very funny and very, very cool.
I've also got the other thing I was published for was inventing a heart monitor system for. It's published in Popular Science. If somebody finds it, a heart monitor system that connected through the helmets that impact and heart rate for football players.
Oh, that's
Used a
cool.
mesh network to communicate between the helmets and sent it off site to run that. That's the other weird thing that got published with my name on it that may be out there. That's the only other thing I've been published for. But so I'm not a prolific inventor. Just uh,
I don't know. It's up for
yeah.
debate.
I do think that having Popular Science say you invented pocket pool that was published and that was actually in a book that they sold to people. You can go buy a copy. Uh, so that's something. But um, I I give my wife the credit because she is a better designer. Even on mechanical stuff, my wife will actually come by and clean up my work. She is a far better designer than me. She will make stuff look cool. Welcome in, M.N. Pickard. He is one of them that followed us when we were doing tool reviews, which we are going back to
I was gonna
shop
say,
content on the.
are we gonna
Huh?
see new tool reviews? I was gonna say, are we gonna see new tool reviews?
No, we will never see me do tool reviews again, but we are going to see shop content. Uh, just like you're never going to see me do maintenance because nobody wants to see it done right. Nobody wants to see me fix an engine.
I
What they
want
want
to
to
see.
see is a guy take a ball hone an engine out and say, "Yeah, I honed, I deglazed and I redid bored this engine out, with a ball glazing hone." And that's nobody wants to see it done right. They want to see half-assed, unfortunately, work that's subpar.
Hey,
So
man,
we're not.
you're preaching to the choir here, man. I always like seeing things done right, right?
Uh, Unfortunately, I probably swear a little bit when I'm fixing certain things that have never been repaired in 50 years. Are and I know I'm the first one to joke about cross threading is Loctite. I get it. Where they use an impact to assemble anything? No.
Oh,
Yeah. People who've never understood what a torque wrench is for.
what's a torque wrench?
Uh, and yeah, this will get me in trouble with the tool guys. You do know that you do not use the top 20 or bottom 20% of a torque wrench. That is not
Fact.
accurate.
It's a fact.
Um,
Just like
if
if you
you're at
put
the
a
top
bar on it.
range, yes. And torque wrenches need calibration. But you don't use the top or bottom 20% of a torque wrench. If Guys got 3 torque wrenches. That is not enough. If you're actually torquing bolts, you're going to be 6 or 7 torque wrenches. I have a torque wrench drawer,
Yep.
and they do get calibrated. So, uh, contrary to popular belief, I even have a torque wrench screwdriver or a torque screwdriver. Actually, I have 2 of them, but that's beside the point. I go anything from a single Newton meter all the way up to 600 foot-pounds in my torque range with accuracy. So I have a drawer of torque wrenches. That's why I'm not the right guy for. I'm a torque Nazi.
Well, the best question I've ever given anyone is, "Hey, do you know the torque spec for this?" And they go, "What's a torque spec?"
I almost got fired once for telling an engineer he was wasting my oxygen because he couldn't use a torque wrench. So
Beam deflection or clicker?
it was a clicker. I actually do like my beam deflection. I know I think they're more accurate, but
Pass.
what?
Hard pass.
Oh, I'm being more accurate?
No, torque beam deflection is the beam can get bent, the base can get bent. I'm not a huge fan of beam deflection. I'll be honest. But I'm fairly new school, so forgive me.
I mean, I've got a digital with angle gauge too, and that's honestly my favorite anymore. But yeah, good enough. Uh, yeah, I'm not an impact guy. Everything's done by. I don't run electric ratchets. Um, I do have impacts, but I don't.
Well, you can snug it up with an impact, but you should be tightening it with a wrench or a ratchet.
There's certain things like if it's a spindle on something, you want to use an impact because it's hard to get a good torque on it. Unfortunately, um, my ideal is Gear Wrench for a while was sending us stuff to be photographed because they liked my wife's photographs on wrenches and stuff, and they were using them in the catalog. And they sent me a really, really nice torque wrench that I'm in love with. It is it's nice. So yeah,
I like clickers.
I got spoiled with that. And I've got I actually will say my Gear Wrench torque screwdriver is nice that they sent me for the same reason. It's a little bit nicer than the one I have is $2,000 for the torque screwdriver. It was when I was working at Motorola. But my Gear Wrench, which I think is like $200, is nicer than that one. So I don't know which is more accurate. They both pass calibration. I'm not sure which is more. To the scummiest vessel I've ever seen. Who's that? No screws. Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed the top one. Was it what the hell? No. Uh, Now in avionics, typically you're running wire tie downs. They've got different torque specs. Typically for avionics, you're looking at wire tie
Preload
down
and
to keep
post
nuts tight.
loading. Yeah, preloading,
Yeah.
post loading, because you cannot deform any of the framature in aerodynamics. Or sorry, aero. Anyway, if you do, basically you can write off an entire wing just by putting one screw in too tight or too loose. That's why
Yeah, you're
preload.
looking at safety wire on avionics. I have done some safety wire stuff, but not for a plane. I've never actually worked on a plane.
I did safety wire on heavy duty trucks on their wheels.
Now that I've never done on a wheel either. Siemens had some safety wire on a few things that you had to have perfect. They ran safety wire. I think almost everything on avionics is safety wire, isn't it? I've never done avionics.
I'm not avionics. It's one of the few industries I haven't done.
Yeah, I've been
Oh,
around
and
planes,
really
but
big machines, like really, really, really big stuff. Then we've done some
some with a lot of
wild.
vibration will a
Yeah.
lot of times have safety wire. Um, Safety wire is technically no. You're wait. Oh, never mind.
What?
Yeah, you don't know where. You definitely know where safety wire is. Um, yeah, safety. It's its own art. I mean,
Well, it's
I
like
honestly,
sometimes it's preset loads even on the safety wire, how many wraps, how far a distance can go, the elongation value of the wire under load. There's wire is I know wire's like an old way, like cotter pin, locking nuts with cotter pin and stuff. I know that's an old way of doing things, but if we're talking more modern stuff, safety wire is safety wire. It's its own animal. Yep, absolutely.
yeah, it's a art in my opinion. At least the stuff I've done, and I'm sure all avionics is the same. Is what the machinery we did. We had to wrap all of the bolts with the same wire. It,
With
it
the
was
same amount of wraps per bolt.
like dummy cord. Never heard it called dummy cord, but we most of the time when I did safety wire, it was precision stuff, and some machine that shook the building or something like that.
Big stuff. Really big stuff. At least for me. And
Quarter.
then Stover bolts. Stover bolts at 6,000 foot-pounds. That's a wild one.
Oh, you're talking about the ones that where you have to replace the fastener because it changes color, aren't you, Polymorph? I've used those too, but not as often.
I've seen them, never used them. Like preload nuts, postload nuts with color swapping. Nope, never used them. But that's why I always say, like, you don't put like for anything serious, you can rattle it down, but you have to finish it by tool. You always have to finish because
And
then you can go and torque spec it.
if you actually ever want a good mechanic for something, he's got to work on that item
Yeah,
because the problem is too many. And I'll say mechanics are the same as unfortunately some 3D printers in a lot of cases. They'll say they can fix anything, and they can if you're willing to give them the time and they can get a hold of the manual.
yeah.
Because a lot of this stuff is not available. I mean, and I'm even working on stuff where there is no manual.
Well, that's what I'm
Never
used to.
was.
Yeah, that's custom built
Where you
stuff.
just winging it. And I'll be real, if you're winging it, you're not fixing it right every time.
Well, and one
Not
of the
really.
secrets to winging it is there's a book called the Machinist Little Black Book. For anyone who's getting into building stuff like serious stuff, go get that. That'll give you every fastener spec, material spec, weld spec that you could possibly want. It's a little book's about this big. It's called the Machinist Little Black Book. I'm sure that Bob can find it if he really wants.
Um, I, what I've got is a Bible.
Yeah,
I
that's the
think it's
bigger
name
one.
one.
That's the big one. That's the big version.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But
that's
those books, like, it doesn't matter, right? Because like I'm a millwright, Bob's an engineer, but that book gives us answers when we don't know. So somebody gives me a blueprint, they put these fasteners in this size, they don't give a torque load. We go to the manual and we check the specs because there's no book,
see,
right?
mine came with the toolbox that actually back when they had drawers specifically for the machinist Bible.
Before my
Because it's
time,
not a small book.
no, it's a beast.
Uh, but yeah, going by feel, I don't think you're doing. In a lot of cases, I don't think that's accurate enough. I'm talking like we don't have the valve clearances on this stuff,
Yeah.
or you know, it's we're not fixing it right. We're just making it run in some cases. Um, the Ugga Duggas, yeah, that's one all the torque specs and Ugga Duggas. I joke about it online, but I'm not that way. That's not a proper repair.
Oh yeah, there's tight and then there's millwright tight, right? Millwright tight, if you're not careful, you'll elongate any of the fasteners. You'll have all kinds of problems.
Tighten it till you loosen it.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good. I don't know where my sharpening stone went.
I did that on an engine rebuild the other day where the head pulled.
Oh, no. Did you have to change all your fasteners?
I always do when you if you're torquing to yield, you change the fasteners.
Yeah.
So they're
they
fresh fasteners. I pulled the threads out of the block.
Oh, no.
So that was a project. I had to order some
Making a
inserts,
day
but I
of it,
could do
eh,
it.
Bob?
Yes.
Making a day
Every
of
project. No.
it. Ooh,
I
helicoils?
don't run
Hard
Healy
pass.
coils
Yeah, hard
on
pass.
torque. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could have, but a time cert is what we or essentially did. Or you drill it out and you replace it with a insert that's wider than the head block, where you could actually, yeah. But yeah, I don't trust a Healy coil to torque to yield. I guess people do, but I don't. But yeah, it does suck. What had happened is somebody had done a bad repair before. Is the only reason it would have pulled at at proper torque. But that's beside the point. You don't know that until you're getting into it, especially on a machine that's old.
Well, and remember, materials, if you guys don't know, metal, steel particularly, over time will harden. Gray cast, yes. White cast, no. White cast gets softer, actually. But the material itself gets hardened over time through work hardening or whatever. And what can happen is you end up just destroying it. So you have to weld it up, braze it up, or just like repair it in general. It's a rough one. I'm not a big
Well,
fan of helical leather.
this was aluminum, so
Oof.
there's a theory that a Healy coil would have held what aluminum would hold. But here's the problem with a Healy coil on aluminum: it's stainless, and stainless and aluminum don't get along. So at some point, one of the two is going to yield. Most likely the aluminum, but not a good move to put a Healy coil in an aluminum block to torque down a head.
Well,
It would
plus
have
the
got out of
similar
the
metals
shop,
will rot,
but
right?
huh?
Well, the similar metals will rot, so the
Yeah.
stainless over time will actually eat the aluminum through electrolysis. No matter, just sitting there. Sorry, I just sharpening something.
Technically, Matt Stack, I think you could argue that it is steel, but it normally you would put more pressure on steel versus gray cast. You could argue it, but there's difference in welding and different materials, so that's
Gray
mainly why it's
cast,
called.
the primary thing with gray cast is it's a shell hardened product, and with gray cast, it's all porous inside. That's why it's a cast, right? So, um, with gray cast, it's not really steel. It's gray cast because it's not consistent throughout. It's the
Yeah,
loading
but
and unloading of it.
that doesn't change the fact that it's steel. But it's
Yeah,
different procedures as far as repairing it.
yeah.
You know, um, like good luck welding on gray cast without doing some damage.
Well, like
Um,
the worst thing about gray cast is like it still has all the cast principles. So even if it's steel, you have to use like atypically you use a brazing rod on it, and you have to cook the crap out of it for like a day because it's so porous. It's just so porous.
I mean, but see, cast aluminum is still porous, and you're still getting it's still aluminum. I think there's an argument on that, is why to call it steel. It's just it's so much different of a procedure to work with it or repair it, is why it's called something different. You can weld gray cast, but it's different. You
Typically, all cast is brazed. Like just as a note, like typically all
you,
cast doesn't white cast or gray cast is always it's always brazed. They do
but it
make
can be
stick.
done.
Yeah, well, they do make they make stick now that you can do gray cast with. You can even do white cast with it. But everything I've ever worked on, we've always done it with brazing.
I'm sorry, as far as the connection problems, I'm running a different app. That's why I decided to try the interview process. But you can. I know welders that can weld it. I cannot weld cast steel. You got to heat it. You got to keep it at the right temperature.
Well, and you got to post
If
heat
you're
it
wanting
too.
the weld to hold, huh?
One of the things that most people forget about cast is you got to do post heating as well.
Yes.
The worst sound in the world is tink. Oh, I hate that noise. Tink.
Uh, there are guys that can weld on cast,
Yeah. And they make rod for it now.
but yeah, but it still is a skill. I mean,
Oh yeah, and it's a dying skill because most is all block milled or foundry cast nowadays. So you don't see like gray cast. I think started disappearing in the early aughts.
a good way when you start to get into that, you get stuff that pisses people off because there's a difference between a guy who says he can weld and a guy who can weld.
Yep.
It's kind of like a truck driver. There's a guy who can say he can drive a truck, and there's a guy who can actually do it. And welding and mechanics, and I guess every field. I mean, I complain about it in 3D printing where people say I made this and they didn't. They hit print. There's a different skill set to it. There are there's a lot of people that held a flashlight for daddy once and think they can rebuild a carburetor.
Oof.
In fact, I'm going to make a comment to make a lot of people mad. 80% of the people that say carburetors are better than fuel injected don't know how a carburetor works.
Well, you've heard me complain about carbs. I like carbs. I love supercharged carbs. I do. I think they're great. But they have a place. Nowadays, they definitely have a place compared to what they used to have. And you've heard me whine. You've heard me whine about my carburetors.
I mean, I'm just saying that fuel injected is simpler than carburetor.
Well, even what's that
Uh,
step between fuel injected and carburation? That's even better than carbs. Remember, like here
but
where I live, you got to tune your carburetor 4 times a year.
they're not as simple as people think they are, though. That's the problem. The carburetor has a lot of things that have to go right for it to work.
Yep.
And my thing is, and I'm of the same thing, M. Picker. My grinder makes me a better welder. Santa saw my
Oh
welds and got me a
no!
grinder.
No, don't tell me that. Oh, that makes me sad.
uh,
Even with Farmer Rod, are you bad with 20? Was 7024, 7028?
who me?
Yeah.
I'm yeah. The
Everybody's
grinder
don't feel
I am.
bad. Everybody's bad at 6010 and 6011. Everybody's bad at it.
I actually typically run 60-10, but on my
Yeah.
stick.
Yeah.
My wire a little bit different, uh, but a carburetor. I mean, you're looking at vortex or low pressure to pull the vacuum on it. A lot of times you're looking at 3 or 4 channels that have to be cleaned. Uh, Most of the people that tell me, "Oh, I can rebuild a carburetor," they have they couldn't tell you how a carburetor works. I mean, they may have cleaned one and it worked once, but they wouldn't even know where the gas flows through it in a lot of cases.
Well, a lot of people can't
Uh,
even get all the lacquer out of a carb.
yes, he said the grinder and paint made me the welder I ain't. That's exactly what he said.
That makes me sad.
uh, I mean, yeah, the Bernoulli principle is actually how.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, most people tell me a carburetor is better than fuel injected. Do not understand or wouldn't even know what that word is. And again, I know this is probably going to piss somebody off somewhere, but if you don't know what the Bernoulli principle is, you don't know how a carburetor works. There's just no way that you know how a carburetor works without knowing what that is. It's just not possible. Um, Especially with anything made since like the 1960s.
Like
We're
high flow
talking multiple
carbs,
passages. Yeah.
high flow and bypass carbs. Yeah.
Um, you're looking at 3-4 channels on most carburetors. You got to understand how that works. I get that throwing in an ultrasonic cleaner, but if you're really saying carburetors are better than fuel injected, you got to know how a carburetor works. If you're going to make that claim, you got to know how a carburetor works, because otherwise you're just making the claim that that's better because I fixed it once, or I threw it in an ultrasonic cleaner and it worked when I was done once.
I'll 100% back the whole fuel injection. Like, what retro modding is like, I'm into retro modding because carburetors, like I say, where I am, got to change carburetor 4 times a year, every seasonal change.
That's what I'm claiming, Pico Boom. I'm saying that most people that say that have never worked on either. In fact, heck, well, I might as well. Most of the people that say they worked on an engine at between 5 and 9 years old held a flashlight for daddy.
Yep.
That's. I actually worked in a mechanic shop at 10 years old. All right, I tore down engines at 10 years old. My dad owned the shop. I'm not lying here. I did not fix an engine at 10 years old. I probably did more damage than I did improvement. But I've got guys that will come in my shop and say, I rebuilt an engine at 10. All right.
Are you bugging
No,
me
you
then?
didn't. Huh?
Yeah, if you built it at 10, why are you bugging me? Do it yourself.
Yeah. Well, the fact is they didn't. If anybody would have rebuilt an engine, it would have been the guy that was living in an engine shop, you know, at that age.
Well, like I was talking, another streamer I know was rebuilding his Honda, and like he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take the cam out, get the cam reground." I was like, "Dude, for the amount of work you're doing, just do an engine swap. Buy a used car, swap the engine in. It's way easier." That's like how I'm not, because doing a full
now
top down build.
the fact that I like old cars and old cars have carburetors, that I appreciate. I like old trucks. Old trucks have carburetors. That's the only reason I work on carbureted trucks. That is it. And I can say that at 16 I was repairing engines. At 16 I was rebuilding lawnmowers, technically snappers. Hell, I was doing it at 13, but at 10 I was not. And I'll hear a lot. I was working on mowers when I was 7 years old. I rebuilt an engine. No, you didn't. You wouldn't have been able to rebuild a carb at 7 years old. Never met a guy that could. You may have think you did it at that age, but no. At probably 13 or 14 years old, I was certified by Briggs and Stratton as a warranty authorized technician. And I was on the youngest side out there.
Gee, Bob, why you gotta be so old?
Yeah, I mean, I was probably one of the youngest ones to do it, and that was not because Dad or my father wanted us to go, so he didn't have to. That was why we did it. Now, at 2 years old, we were tearing down engines. So I don't remember learning to use a ratchet. There are pictures of me in diapers somewhere where I was tearing down an engine. So I won't say I didn't touch an engine at a young age. I'm just saying that I wasn't competent to fix it.
That's the start of it all. Like I say, like I often talk about when I got started. Well, I got started when I was early, but I didn't really start building stuff till I was in my teens, mid-teens. Yeah, makes sense.
I actually, let's see, I was trying to think. I was probably 12 when my father would not work on a Honda. We had what we called a Honda tool. It was a sledgehammer. So anything Honda, what my father wouldn't touch. Uh, that just was what it was. So when I was 12 or 13, I had to start repairing stuff because Dad wasn't going to do it. In fact, if I souped it up, he sold it on me. And would get me another one. So, and unfortunately, I did soup it up a lot. I got a new motorcycle when between 13 and 16 years old every year. Because the instant I got a speeding ticket on it, it seemed to disappear.
There you go.
When I got a speeding ticket at 55 miles an hour on a 30 or a 50 cc motor, it got sold. But they exist. I have seen them. I have to find them. So he sold the stuff. Now, it wasn't 50 cc when I was done, by the way. um, but
Oh, I don't know what that.
And I'm not sure which one it was, if it was me or my brother. I have a twin, so I don't know which picture was which of that old of a photo. I think there's pictures of both of us doing it at the same time, but we were tearing down engines, not repairing them. I mean, Dad just thought it was funny because he had a shop.
See, like when I was young, that's when like PCs started to become a thing here in Canada, and I was really into computers back in the day. But that's what it all kind of changed for me in high school because I realized like everybody's gonna be good at computers, so why bother be good at it when everyone's good at it? So that's the different world. See, I didn't grow up with a shop. I didn't have any of that stuff, right? So it's awesome to hear those stories, Bob, and I'm so glad you're sharing because you normally don't talk about this stuff.
A weed eater engine is going to be faster. The problem is it wouldn't carry much weight, so your friend had to be light. If you want a fast, when I was a kid, they used to have go-kart races around here. If you wanted a screaming go-kart, get you a chainsaw.
Yep.
Because the RPMs on a two-stroke are insane. You could rip around. If you could get it to move you on a tremor to a go-kart, once it wound up, it was going to fly. We had some two-stroke go-karts that we had fixed up when I was 4 and 5. We had a weird thing. I didn't learn to ride a bicycle like most people did because we had a go-kart. My dad had an engine shop, so whatever. We actually had a go-kart, so I didn't ride a bike very often. I guess I vaguely knew how or whatever. When I turned 12 or something, I think it was, my dad got me a motorcycle.
That's pretty
So I
cool.
didn't learn to ride a bicycle. I learned to ride a motorcycle. Don't recommend that to people. And I got good enough I could stand on the seat. I've actually got scars to prove it.
Don't tell
You can stand
Carrot.
on the seat going straight. It's turning that becomes an issue when you're standing on the seat. That you don't want a 90-degree turn where a road tees when you're standing on the seat. It doesn't go well. Yeah, not recommended. 1 of 10. Don't recommend that.
1 of 10 would not do again.
Yes, would not do again. So, I got decent on motorcycle, and I definitely bonus point or points subtracted when the ice was on the ground. So, yeah, I was trying to impress a girl standing on the motorcycle with ice on the ground. Not 1 of 10. Don't recommend. Did not impress her.
You don't say. You don't say.
Did not impress.
Would not recommend.
Yes. Don't do that. But I grew up in an engine shop, and I won't tell you. I will say I held the flashlight when I was a little kid, but
Pretty normal.
yeah,
Normal.
everybody starts there. I mean, it's fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Everybody starts with a holding the flashlight for dad. It's a fair thing. But it's same like the printing. If you say you design something from the scratch up, you better design it from the scratch up. Be honest. That's all I've ever asked for people. Don't. When I was holding a flashlight for my dad, working on stuff, which I'm sure was like 4 to 10 or so, whatever it was. Well, actually, no, I scratched that. I held a flashlight for him last year. So, um, it. So, but that's not repairing stuff. That was holding a flashlight for dad. Now I actually repair stuff for him too. But you know, and you do learn some of that. Normally cuss words, but you know, you still have that flashlight. I don't, unfortunately. We don't have anything of that era, tool wise, that I could think of, other than screwdrivers and hammers, stuff like that. I have my father's favorite wrench, though. That's kind of a cool thing. I've got his Armstrong ratchets. He gave me that a few years back. Uh, they're better than Snap-on, hands down. They're a great ratchet. So I have those. I don't use them very often because they're like 16 tooth. You know.
Whoa. Whoa.
So you don't use them very much.
Yeah, no, a little rough. A little rough.
I typically use like my 120 tooth ratchets. I mean, but I want his hammer. I like my mom's purse hammer too, but because hit it with your purse.
Yeah.
But I want his brass hammer. He has a Thor brass hammer that I want.
Oh, he's got like a maul.
No, it's they made fancy brass hammers back in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Really, I mean, it's beautiful brass hammer, huge. It's called a Thor, literally.
Never
But
heard of him.
he's got one of those that I want. And same like we always had weird tools like the pinch bars. That's the wallet opener in our shop. So
Fair enough.
So that's my pry bar, essentially, for when things don't work, because that's not a small pry bar. That we've got unusual tools. Like we'll have pipe wrenches that are 4 foot long to bend metal. Not the correct use for the tool, but it works. Stuff like that. Or you can straighten a frame with a 4 foot. Have a good one, Pez. I need to go too, but because I got to get up at 4 in the morning.
My show's at noon tomorrow, so I don't have to stress.
Yeah, I got to work out in the shop.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but so I'll have to go before too long. Carpet.
Whatever you
bubble
want, man.
level.
Your show.
Unfortunately, I don't. When I was growing up, we didn't do woodworking. That's my weakest point. I don't think my dad. Actually, wait, I do know. My dad bought a table saw a couple years ago, right before he got where he was wheelchair bound, because I gave him his first table saw. So I take it back. I do remember doing that. Dad got a table saw. You got to get the work done before customers come in, man, Picker. So I don't have much woodworking stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm running through an app. I have very limited control of screen breaking. We didn't do much woodworking. That is weak on us. We did metalworking and engine work. And my dad was not very patient. My mother taught me to rebuild a carburetor.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'm not joking. I learned to cook. And everything like that because we came from a liberal family in a lot of ways. Table saw is scary to me because I grew up when that was a banned tool. We didn't have a bandsaw. We didn't have a because the mechanic needs all of his fingers, and bad enough anyway. So we didn't have that stuff. My first table saw was the Delta I bought, cabinet maker saw. Cut one board on it. Never used it since. That's the only table saw I've ever actually owned.
So I've been around all kinds of saws, right? And I'm still nervous around table saws because of the kick. But I've seen like belt-driven table saws. I've seen direct drive table saws. I've never seen one of those like finger catch saws, but oh yeah, and like I've seen saw blades on arbors on a pillow block with a pulley on the end of it.
Yeah. Now the weird thing is, like, I've used sawmills, and they're not near as scary to me.
Yeah.
That you would think that would be scary, but a sawmill to cut lumber, not a problem.
Well, and it's crazy because, like, depending on the type of sawmill you've seen, like, I've worked on a hand-built V8 sawmill, but I've also seen like bandsaw mills. I've seen splitter mills. I've seen all kinds of stuff. Right. The thing that scares me most is debarking machines. Debarking machines give me the heebie-jeebies.
I've never actually worked on one of those. Weirdly, I've seen them, but I've never worked on a debarking.
Even when they're locked out, those arms, like even when you drop the hydraulics on them and they'll close all up, they're heavy, they're sharp, they're normally really wet. There's always a little bit of grease on something, where you don't expect it. They are, and then putting the new teeth on it, oh boy, are they spooky.
A chainsaw is the most dangerous thing you will probably ever operate, Peekaboo.
I warn people about chainsaws all the time. Yep. They're scary.
I actually, when I took over the store, we stopped selling chainsaws. Because I got tired of telling people they were too stupid to own one and they shouldn't have one. And my dad even did that when he owned the shop. I remember him telling a guy that had an arborist degree that he was too stupid to operate a chainsaw. He didn't need to have one and wouldn't sell him one. We regularly refuse to sell chainsaws to people. I would rather take a beating than work on one because some of these cheap chains that people buy, the metal's subpar. It's absolute trash. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
When I was in trade school, the dean of trades got cut by a chainsaw because he wasn't wearing chaps. Took him 8 months to heal from the injury.
Yeah, I worked with loggers and I've worked with chainsaws. I know how to operate a chainsaw. Dad didn't pay me, so I had to do a lot of side jobs. I detasseled. I did genetic research on corn when I was in high school. I worked with 3 or 4 loggers, tree trimmers, baled hay. I remember one time I didn't want to go home to work in the shop, so I did roofing. You know how hard your dad has to work you some days if you decide roofing is the better option.
Yeah, nobody knows how bad roofing is until you do it.
But I mean, we worked 7 days a week when I was a kid. You just,
gotta pay the bills, man. Gotta pay the bills.
And we also heated the old shop before insurance was there. We would cut our own. I had an uncle that had a tree trimming business, and we sold chainsaws. We had lots of customers that owned tree trimming businesses. So they'd drop wood off, and we would cut the wood and heat the shop with it. Free wood, free heating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we basically would split firewood or sometimes. That's actually where I would I got a job roofing today. I mean, baling hay, it's too hot to be cutting firewood. I'll bale hay, but I know it sounds weird to people say, "Oh yeah, I baled hay because I was lazy." Yeah, if in the right environment, that's lazy.
Well, it's like block piling, right? Just shaking shingle, right?
Yeah, I mean,
If you
carrying
gotta go
shingles
home
up
and
to the
work
roof.
yourself to death, go block piling
Uh,
instead.
yeah. And technically, what we were doing mainly was hauling shingles or shingles up the roof. Um,
Glad you made it through, people.
okay, it's going to kill us here in about 10 seconds, so I'm going to have to probably call it.
All right.
Yeah, let me see.
Just love you to death, Bob. Thank you for having me on the
Yeah.
show today. I'm always grateful.
Actually, I'm going to try to restart it just so I can raid out. Let's see if I
Okay.
can. Let me go into Twitch.
Yeah, it's a good thing he was wearing his safety gear. That's why I always like chainsaws, even if they're electrics. I'm always apprehensive. I've seen some real wizards with them, but
Okay, if anybody's still here, we are trying to raid. We're raiding into Maker Deck because I can't find anybody else, and it says I'm going to end it no matter what. So, have a good night, everybody.
love you to death, Bob. Thanks for having me.